We've been following this local story for a while here at WSB Radio about closing the Canton Street in downtown Roswell. I love downtown Roswell. It's fantastic. Some great restaurants, some great nightlife, great people watching. And you remember, Deborah, there was an event. I was driving to downtown Roswell a couple months ago, and the road was closed. They were having
They closed down the square to do like an artist market, right?
It was, I don't know. It was like every
Thursday or Wednesday they'll close it down, and you can have like local shops come out there, music, food trucks, stuff like that.
It shocked me. I was like, what the hell's going on? So apparently back in the beginning of May, the mayor of Roswell posted a video on Facebook saying, oh, we're going to do that permanently. We're going to shut down Canton Street permanently in downtown Roswell. And there was some backlash from the community and some of the local business leaders that have businesses up and down Canton Street. One of those business owners is Jenna Aronowitz. She joins us live from 1920 Tavern. Jenna, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Excellent. Did I get the timeline right? It was the beginning of May, right? The mayor came out and said, hey, we're going to close down the street.
Yes, it was around about the end of April.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And what happened since then? Because this has been a pretty big controversy in the tiny hamlet of downtown Roswell.
Well, I mean, we were basically blindsided by the whole situation. We received an email saying that our presence was requested within 24 hours because they were going to shut down the street, which obviously shocked us all because, first we're hearing about it and we had no time to plan. And when we showed up and we said, whoa, what are you talking about? Oh, no, we're going to create a promenade and we're going to shut down the street from Memorial Day to Labor Day. And we're like, no, there's no way. What about deliveries? What about ADA? There was a list a mile long. And this prompted this whole last couple of months of back and forth with the city.
So there was pushback by businesses along Canton Street, including you. Am I correct on that?
100%. Pretty much, I won't say all, but I would say 90% of the businesses. Plus, if you know that Canton Street's a mixed-use neighborhood, so it wasn't just pushback from the businesses, there was also pushback from the residents.
And your biggest concern as a business owner is that when they close down, so what's the name of that event that I ran into a couple months ago? What do they call that?
It's called Alive in Roswell.
Oh, yeah,
and they do it on the third Thursday of every month.
Third Thursday every month. It caught me off guard. I was like, oh, well, this is interesting. So that's been going on for a while. When they shut down the street on the third Thursday of every month, does that help or hurt your business?
Previously it was called Alive After 5, and it was really a wonderful event, and the community came out to support the businesses that were down here, and we really, really enjoyed it. Well, in 2018, the city decided to take it over and bring in vendors outside our restaurants, so food trucks, liquor tents, and so on. So since the city took it over, we started seeing a decline in sales. So, we used to love the event, and it used to be really to support how it came about. It was created to support the businesses and create a vibe on Canton Street. And now it's just become a drunk fest with other people basically capitalizing on our street.
Interesting. We're talking to Jenna Aronowitz from 1920 Tavern in Roswell on the Mark Arum Show. So there was major pushback, and then I think it was 3 weeks ago there was a task force formed to come up with a solution. Who was on this task force, and what did they ultimately decide?
Correct, yeah. So the mayor and council put forward a task force of their choice. It was supposedly 4 business owners and 3 residents, 2 residents that lived close by and 1 resident at large. It ended up not having any of the restaurants directly affected on the task force. I will say that every single task force member that was put on did exactly the job that they were set out to do. They had a really tough job, put in front of them because, they really had no tools. I really thank them for actually doing the homework and going down and getting the facts. And so basically they were given a task without any information. There was no data, there were no plans, and there were no studies. So they were doomed to fail.
So this task force was formed 3 weeks ago. The timeline that they gave themselves, or the mayor gave, was by August 25th, they're going to have a resolution. right? That was the timeline. But I wake up this morning to email saying, "Oh no, August 25th is not going to happen." What was the breaking development from the overnight hours?
So the breaking development actually happened at their very first meeting when they asked the city administrator, could they please have a copy of the plan that they've created so that they have something to go by. And when the city administrator said that there wasn't a plan and that the whole point of the task force was to create a plan, they were incredibly confused and realized that there was no plan. So how are 7 citizens who don't know what happens on Canton Street on a daily basis supposed to come up with a plan without any studies? So last night they basically said, we can give you a recommendation. And the recommendation that we give you is do the homework, do the studies, do a traffic study, do an economic study, create a plan, and then maybe come give us a call and we can discuss this further. But until you do your homework, we can't do anything except dissolve us.
So who is going to be in charge of that homework? Who is going to be responsible for the study and who's going to pay for that?
To be honest, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it has to be mayor and council. It's their project.
Interesting. Jenna Aronowitz from 1920 Tavern. Can you hang out one more segment? I have a couple of follow-up questions.
Of course.
Excellent. All right. This is a pretty big deal. Downtown Roswell's fantastic. If you know, and there's amazing downtown Alpharetta and Tucker. There's these great little enclaves throughout Metro Atlanta, and one of the best is downtown Roswell. What should happen with Canton Street in downtown Roswell? We'll continue our discussion with Jenna when we come back. This is the Mark Arum Show on 95.5 WS&B. 7:19 on the Mark Arum Show, continuing our conversation of the curious case of Canton Street. A lot of hubbub there in Roswell. Joining us live from the 1920 Tavern, it's Jenna Aronowitz. Jenna, thanks for hanging on.
No problem at all.
All right, so I hear your concerns on why you think it's not a good idea to shut down Canton Street permanently. I'm going to play devil's advocate. The folks that want to close Canton Street, what are the benefits that they think will happen if they close that thoroughfare?
To be honest, I've been racking my brain and trying to think of why, because I don't see a benefit. If they wanted a green space for people to hang out, there's so many other places in Roswell, even in the district, that we can do that, of which we actually have given mayor and council those ideas, but they just don't want to listen to them. So I do understand them wanting a place for families to hang out, and I'm guessing that is their main idea, the ones that are for it. But closing a main thoroughfare is not the way to do it.
Again, so I ran into the Thursday night shutdown a couple months ago, and it definitely impacted traffic, especially folks like me that were unaware that it was shut down. Do you see, I don't know if from your vantage point from 1920 Tavern, but are there traffic implications and or parking implications if they close down the thoroughfare permanently?
So that is our major gripe with this whole situation. We have a terrible parking problem in Roswell. We always have. Everybody knows it. Anybody that comes here goes crazy. I can't find a parking. And we basically said from day one, build a parking garage and then we can talk. But until that's taken care of, we can't do anything. We're stuck. We have a major deficit. We also, we had a sinkhole that happened right just off Canton Street in May. It actually shut down the enclosed area that the mayor had proposed. And when I went on to Waze, I looked around the area and all I saw was red. Mm-hmm. It basically backed up Roswell Road, which is at Atlanta Street, all the way to Northridge, and then backed up to 400. It then backed up Canton Street, which goes into Crabapple, all the way there. It backed up Highway 9 all the way to Main Street, Alpharetta, and then again towards Marietta via Magnolia, and it bottlenecks the entire area.
It's a fragile ecosystem there in downtown Roswell.
So traffic and parking are the two main concerns for us.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, geez, Louise, I can tell you firsthand how many times I've struggled to find a parking spot in downtown Roswell. Jenna, I don't have any skin in this game, right? I don't live in Roswell. I do enjoy going to Roswell. I love, having dinner and having a drink and enjoy. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. But I don't live there. I don't have skin in this game. To me, it seems that there shouldn't be a task force. There shouldn't be the mayor that decides. That maybe it should be left up to the residents of Roswell, maybe voting on a referendum and let them decide what should happen with Canton Street.
I agree with that somewhat.
Okay.
You have people who don't live on Canton Street or don't work on Canton Street who live in Roswell and don't understand the ecosystem around here. As you said, we're very fragile. We do have a very fragile ecosystem, and we actually work together well with the issues that we have. But if you don't work or live on the street, you don't understand our issues. So I think that the decision needs to come from an expert, not even just me who has my livelihood on Canton Street, but an expert who does this for a living, somebody who studies traffic, somebody who studies economic things.
Sure, an expert in the subject
an expert in the field, and that's the person who should come up with the plan.
And that's where we left it last night, right? That they pushed it back onto let's find someone that's a city planner or someone that has experience in this to do a study. So that's where we stand right now with the story.
Right, 100%. And what frustrates us the most is that we have gone to mayor and council and given them the options that are around us. No land needs to be purchased. No streets need to be closed. We have place for promenade. It just doesn't involve closing Canton Street.
Where would the promenade? Where would you propose the promenade go?
Well, there's two options. You have the heart of Roswell Park that could be expanded where there's a lot of wasted space. One of the proposals that I had put forward to the mayor and council was to push back that land, flatten it out, and put bocce ball courts and cornhole boards, a fountain for the kids, and that could activate the park immediately for not a lot of money. You also have City Hall that has a big space. All they have to do is remove 48 trees, pine trees, not oak trees, 48 pine trees, and you have a green space that could have, vendors. It could have an amphitheater, can have a fountain for kids, a little park, and it's right there in front of us.
Interesting. So there are options. Jenna, real quick, final, last, and probably most important question. If we go to lunch today at 1920 Tavern, what should I order?
Oh, I think you should get the sea bass.
The sea bass. Oh, all right. Yeah. I was thinking the Hawaiian lamb sliders, perhaps, for
Those
Longoria.
Those are also really, really good. Nothing on our menu is bad, that's for sure. Everything is made from scratch. So if you decide that you want to make your own dish, we'll do that for you too.
Jenna Aronowitz, 1920 Tavern. Fantastic insight on what has really been a hot button issue there in Roswell. I appreciate your time, and we'll check back with you as this story develops.